It all began as all tragic family tales do these days with a ping. Not even a call. Just a ping. The kind that makes your eye twitch because, nothing good ever comes from a group chat named Fam Jam. I glanced down, still half sedated, from a disappointing cup of tea and the emotional hangover that comes with being the default family organizer/doormat. And there it is, the message. Hey, just so you know, you're not invited anymore. Just so you know. Like it was a gentle heads up. Like they were doing me a favor. Casually exiling me from an event I paid for. Like it was a cheeky weather update. Hey, 60% chance of rain and also your persona non grata now, ta? I blinked. Read it again. Then blinked harder. Like maybe I'd accidentally rubbed sarcasm into my eyeballs. Instead of sleep. Nope, still there. Still in full digital glory. Apparently I was no longer welcome at the event I planned. Booked and bankrolled from the Airbnb to the buffet. A party that, let's be honest, would have crumbled into chaos without my spreadsheets and unnerving obsession with color-coded packing list. Honestly, if irony had a physical form, it would have drop-kicked me into next Tuesday. And the worst part? They didn't even have the decency to pretend it was about me. No long, awkward confrontation. No emotional manipulation warmed up and served with a side of guilt. Just a one-line rejection. Sandwiched between a Minions meme and my aunt's 10th. Reminder to bring folding chairs. I mean, what a way to find out you've been ghosted by your own bloodline. But of course, they kept all the reservations in place. The Airbnb? Still confirmed. The caterer? Still expecting 20 guests. The custom welcome signs that read family first. In Comic Sans? Still printing. Because apparently my credit card was invited, just not me. So here I am, reading that message. Sitting in a flat I can no longer afford because I've just spent half a month's salary on hummus platters for people who think WhatsApp group power dynamics are a legitimate form of governance. And for a moment, just a glorious, deeply unhinged moment, I consider applying something calm and mature. Like no worries at all, hope it goes well. But instead I stare at the screen, emotionally detached, sipping lukewarm tea like I'm the main character in a British indie film where nothing gets resolved but the lightings. Moody enough to win awards. Because of course this is how it happens. Not with a conversation. Not with decency. But with a group text at 9:12 a.m. on a Tuesday. And that, my friends, was the beginning of the end, or as I like to call it, The Great Family Purge, Volume 1. So let's backtrack a bit, for context. Not that context matters when your own family disinvites you from a party. You literally handcrafted with your bare Google Calendar. But anyway, picture this, my sister, darling middle child, golden girl, passive-aggressive, Pinterest board in human form, rings me up in that fake humble voice she uses when she's about to emotionally mug someone. We're thinking of doing a big family weekend away. Something special. Something that really brings everyone together again. Oh yes, together. What she meant, of course, was you plan it, pay for it, and pretend not to notice when we all give you 0 credit and complain. The wine isn't organic. But sure, I nodded along like the obliging sibling I apparently am, while she spun her little dream, beach house, BBQs, laughter echoing into the sunset. Basically the John Lewis Christmas advert version of reality, just with more unresolved trauma and potato salad. And like the idiot I was raised to be, I said yes. Not just yes, full throttle. Spreadsheet-enabled, emotionally invested yes. Because apparently some part of me still thought, maybe this time they'll appreciate it. Cue the montage of me stress booking. Accommodation like a low-budget travel. Agent on a sugar crash. I locked down the Airbnb. Paid the deposit. Organized who'd sleep where, which, by the way, was basically United Nations level negotiation. No. Uncle Mark cannot have the en-suite again just because he snores less than last year. It's called sleep apnea. Sandra. Then came the meal plans. The group activities. The personalized tote bags I ordered off Etsy. Because apparently I hate having money and self-respect. I made a Google Doc itinerary that included everything from arrival snacks to designated swim times. It was essentially a wedding, just without the love, the joy, or the legally binding escape route. And what did my darling sister contribute? A vision board and a vague promise to maybe bring brownies. Which she never did, by the way. Just brought her emotional baggage and a Bluetooth speaker with the bass settings of a microwave. Honestly, I should have known. The warning signs were there. Like when she asked if the Airbnb had a selfie wall. Or if I could curate the aesthetic. Not decorate, curate, because, God forbid this family holiday. Didn't go with her Instagram grid. But no, I kept going. Because I was being selfless, wasn't I? Doing it for the family. Being the bigger person. Again, it's funny how the bigger person always ends up doing most of the emotional lifting and the admin. In hindsight, I realized I wasn't organizing a holiday. I was building my own emotional guillotine. Out of artisanal bunting and passive-aggressive texts. So yeah, that was the setup. A perfectly manicured disaster ready to implode in pastel-colored glory. And all lovingly funded. By the one person who wouldn't even be invited. Right, so now that I've been gently throat-punched by the group chat of doom. Let's rewind to a simpler time, eh? Time when I still believed in concepts like family loyalty shared. Responsibility and not being casually exiled via emoji. Because once my sister floated the idea of a special reunion read curated chaos, I did what any highly strung eldest sibling with deep-rooted validation issues and a decent credit score would do. I handled it. Flights sorted, venue booked, paid, confirmed twice because this family cancels on reality more often than they cancel on each other. Catering locked in with gluten, free options, dairy-free alternatives, and emotional support hummus for the vegans. Decor don't even get me started. I ordered bespoke banners that said, "Together again like we hadn't spent the last 3 years exchanging mildly traumatic updates over WhatsApp and pretending group therapy isn't needed." I even made digital invitations. Yes, invitations with actual fonts. I spent an embarrassing amount of time choosing between whimsical script and modern serif. Because apparently I thought the right typography could heal generational trauma. Oh, and RSVP buttons because I, in my tragic optimism, believe this family could click a yes or no without starting a Cold War and the replies silly me. And what did I get for all my effort complaints? This is too far to drive. Can we make the schedule more chill? Do we have to share rooms? Honestly, at one point I was this close to emailing out a Google form titled "How entitled are you?" Really, with multiple choice answers ranging from mildly to full Kardashian. But still I powered through because I wasn't doing it for recognition. Oh no, recognition is for people who are liked. I was doing it because I thought somewhere deep in this emotional quicksand of a family, maybe we could have a moment. Just want a real, actual, maybe even smile in a photo moment. Spoiler alert, I was not planning a reunion, I was funding my own downfall. Every invoice I paid was basically a down payment on psychological warfare. Every e-transfer a red flag. I labeled generosity because I didn't want to admit I was being emotionally mugged with a glittery stick of bunting. And still I thought it was worth it. I told myself you're doing something nice, something good, something meaningful. Because nothing screams meaningful like organizing a catered breakdown with matching beach towels. In hindsight, I realized I was playing the role of the budget magician, pulling money out of nowhere, conjuring joy from chaos and tap dancing around everyone's impossible demands with the grace of a caffeinated wedding planner on the verge of a breakdown. Except instead of applause, I got uninvited. So yes, the venue was booked, the flights were paid, the food was arranged. And me, I was quietly writing a check for my own betrayal, signing it with a little heart emoji and a smile that said, maybe this time they'll love me back. They didn't. So about a week before the big, beautiful bunting-laced reunion, the one I orchestrated like a caffeine-fueled cruise director on her last emotional leg, something shifted. My sister, bless her delusional little heart, suddenly developed a very aggressive case of main character syndrome. And I mean full-blown. No vaccine. No warning signs. Just boom, she wakes up one morning and decides she's now the artistic director of this event/family fiasco. Suddenly, I'm not helping anymore. I'm overstepping. Apparently, the person who's paid for literally everything is now being a bit much. You know, with all the organizing and planning. And ensuring people don't end up sleeping in the boot of a Vauxhall Astra. She sends me a voice note, always a red flag, and says, "I just feel like you're making this whole thing about you." I stared at my phone like it had just personally insulted my birth chart. I'm sorry. Making it about me? Me, the one who coordinated 5 adults with commitment issues and a disturbing fear of Google Docs? Me, who paid for a catering deposit the same day. I had to decline my own dentist appointment because I was too skint to floss professionally. Apparently, according to Her Royal Highness of Passive Aggression, organizing the entire weekend and making sure no one dies of boredom or food poisoning is now attention-seeking. Because nothing screams, "Look at me." Quite like booking portaloos and color-coding bin bags. Oh, and she didn't stop there. No, this was a full takeover. She starts making a few changes. By changes, I mean deleting half the schedule, moving dinner times to suit the vibe, and casually removing the one board game night I was actually looking forward to. She even changed the group name chat from Reunion 2024 to Chill Weekend, No Stress Vibes Only, which, considering the emotional landmines she was planting, was genuinely impressive levels of ironic. Every suggestion I made? Shut down. Every task I'd already done? Redone for the aesthetic. At one point, she told me she was curating the mood, like this was Coachella. Not a cottage in Dorset with 3 broken deck chairs and a dodgy Wi-Fi connection. And through all this, I just sat there, watching, waiting, wondering if I accidentally wandered into an experimental theater production called Family. But make it feral. But I said nothing. Because I still, for some reason, I've yet to discuss in therapy, held on to the hope that maybe she'd snap out of it. That this wasn't a power grab, but a brief episode of sibling-induced madness brought on by too many Pinterest boards and not enough fiber. Spoiler, it was very much a power grab. And I was being gently pushed off the ship I built with my own traumatized hands. Apparently, being the person who planned and paid for everything meant I had too much control. Imagine that. Next time I'll just throw thousands of pounds into the sea and hope the waves form a snack table and a sensible seating plan. So yeah, while I was out here booking transport, sourcing pillow mints, and managing everyone's dietary restrictions, like a bloody UN peacekeeper, my sister was seizing the throne. A week out from the trip, and suddenly I'm not the organizer and the problem. So after weeks of planning, funding, coordinating, and emotionally white-knuckling my way through my sister's impromptu dictatorship, the universe decided it hadn't quite finished, slapping me in the face with a novelty flip-flop. It happened on a Tuesday. Because, of course, life-altering betrayals always happen on Tuesdays. The emotional bin day of the week. I'm mid-scroll. Probably doom shopping on Amazon for biodegradable cutlery and family-friendly games that don't end in violence. When paying a notification from the family group chat. No call, no heads up. Just a text. Because why go for dignity when you can go full digital backstabbing? Hey, we talked and we just feel like it's best if you're not there. It's more about family, you know? Oh yes, more about family. From the people who just vanished. The one person who made the whole gathering even remotely possible. The irony didn't just die, it was cremated. Sprinkled over an organic cheese platter. And served with a side of betrayal hummus. I read it 3 times. Not because I couldn't believe it, but because I was hoping the text would magically reword itself into something less emotionally absurd. Like, surprise! You've been upgraded to VIP and we're all getting matching tattoos of your face. But no, they really meant it. I was uninvited from an event I created. I was literally the architect of this chaos. And they decided to evict the builder while still living in the bloody house. Let me just recap this with the level of drama it truly deserves. I paid for the accommodation. I booked the travel. I handled the food activities, seating arrangements, and the exact number of gluten-free brownies. I even planned for rain contingencies. Because, unlike the rest of this family, I believe in being prepared for disasters that aren't entirely my own making. And in return, I got yeeted out like expired hummus. The best part? No actual explanation. Just fake phrases like, "You've been a bit much lately," and "We want positive energy," which, translated from passive-aggressive to English, roughly means, "We want all the benefits of your effort, money, and emotional labor. Just without you." I'm sorry, when did I become the unwanted side dish at my own buffet? For context, my last crime in this saga was suggesting that maybe, just maybe, people should reply to RSVPs. Apparently, that's now considered an act of war. I sat on my sofa, staring at that message like it was a live recording of my own public humiliation. All those receipts, all those spreadsheets, all those polite texts where I pretended it was no problem at all, when actually I was clenching my jaw so hard I could chew granite. And now I'm not even invited to the damn thing. It's giving Shakespearean tragedy, but with fewer swords and more WhatsApp. The real kicker? They still went. To the Airbnb I paid for. To the party I planned. Using the bloody itinerary I made. Probably while smugly sipping wine and calling me too intense in the same breath they asked where the keys were. Honestly, I didn't know whether to cry, scream, or invoice them with late fees and a handwritten note that just said, "Enjoy Hell X." So there I was, freshly disinvited from a weekend getaway. I'd personally assembled like some sort of delusional party planning IKEA elf. Betrayal? Check. Family dysfunction? Double check. Emotional whiplash? At this point, I needed a neck brace. But instead of crying or begging or sending one of those "You okay?" texts with the full stop, which, as we know, is a psychological warfare move, I smiled. Not a normal smile. Not a "unhappy for you" smile. No, this was the smile. The one you see just before a soap opera character pulls off their wig and reveals they've been plotting since season 1. Cue the inner monologue. Right, if I'm not wanted, neither is my wallet. Laptop opened. Mood legally justified. Petty, fully caffeinated. First, I went straight for the Airbnb booking. You know, the very same booking made under my name, on my card, with my 5-star host rating hanging delicately in the balance. Click. Cancel reservation. Are you sure? Absolutely. Next stop, catering. Oh yes, the spread they'd been raving about. The vegan options? Gone. The charcuterie board? Cancelled. The cupcake tower that matched the party theme? Vaporized. I watched the confirmation. Emails disappear like I was Marie, condoing my own rage. Now, here's where it gets beautifully unhinged. I didn't just delete files. I made a ceremony of it. 55 documents, itineraries, spreadsheets, guest lists, allergy logs, emergency contacts. Even the digital invites with the twee little bunting graphics. Poof. Gone. Erased like my relevance in the family WhatsApp chat. CTRL plus Alt plus delete has never felt so divine. It was practically a spiritual cleanse. I could hear the ghost of every unpaid therapy bill whisper, "Let it burn." And just to top it off, every reversed payment came with a notification. That little, "You've been refunded" ping. Over and over. I imagine their phones lighting up like a Christmas tree of disappointment. Now I know what you're thinking. Isn't that a bit extreme? And to that I say, no. What's extreme is throwing someone out of the party. They planned like you're Regina George holding the burn book. What's extreme is thinking. I'd swallow it quietly while you enjoyed a catered brunch on my dime, clinking mimosas over my metaphorical corpse. Honestly, the restraint I showed by not sending a follow-up group text titled, "Good luck with your unpaid weekend" leeches should qualify me for sainthood. I sat back, sipped my drink, and watched as chaos bloomed in real time. The frantic messages started pouring in. "Hey, the host says the booking's canceled." The caterer's saying there's no order anymore." "Why did the playlist link stop working?" "Because, darling, you're on your own now. Welcome to budget Airbnb roulette where the beds creak." The neighbors smoke questionable things. And nobody knows how to operate the oven. Because revenge, when served digitally and with high-speed Wi-Fi, is chef's kiss satisfying. It took them precisely 3 hours to notice. 3 full hours. Which honestly tells you everything you need to know about this family. I could have been dead in a ditch and they'd still be comparing hummus brands in the group chat like it's the bloody Great British Dip-Off. Then it happened, but things began.com a thing. Greater than why is the venue cancelled? Ping ping! Greater than did you pull out of the booking? Buzz, greater than oh my god we don't have the Airbnb anymore? And I, sitting on my sofa with a glass of wine and a sense of divine justice, just watched the chaos unfold. Like it was a live feed from a very disorganized apocalypse. The sheer panic radiating from those texts was enough to power a small town. Let's pause here for dramatic effect. Because this is the moment where most people would panic, feel guilty, maybe even apologize, not me. Not after being told I wasn't invited. Not after funding the entire circus. Only to be thrown out like expired yogurt. So I did the only logical thing. I typed one message. One glorious, spine-tingling mic drop of a message. And I sent it straight into the pit of that flaming WhatsApp inferno. Pay for it yourselves, leeches. Sent, delivered, read. And then blocked every single one of them. No second chances, no explanations. No, let's talk about it. Just a calm, calculated digital purge. I was Marie Kondoing my way through the family tree. And let me tell you, none of them sparked joy. Oh. And just in case you're picturing me in some dramatic frenzy, I wasn't. I did this in pajamas, hair in a bun. Candle flickering nearby, it was Zen revenge. The kind that clears your skin and aligns your chakras. They tried calling, they tried emailing. They even got mom to send one of those half-guilt, half-prayer needs texts greater than can we please just talk? It's gotten out of hand. Oh, sweetheart. It got out of hand when you kicked me out of a party I paid for. This is just me pulling the plug and watching the inflatable bouncy castle of your delusions deflate. Honestly, the most tragic part was watching them try to salvage it. Last-minute bookings, a backup Airbnb 2 hours away. Sandwiches from Tesco's meal deal section. Apparently, the dream weekend became a logistical nightmare. Which is poetic, really. Like watching Karma do ballet. So yes, I caused a meltdown. Yes, I ruined their precious little getaway. And no, I don't regret a single bite of it. Because sometimes you don't burn bridges. You just press send. And let the Wi-Fi do the rest. Now, let's talk about the aftermath. So apparently my dear sister, she of the sudden ego inflation, and selective memory tried to salvage the event, which is a bit like trying to glue together a shattered wine glass with eyelash. Glue and delusion. I imagine her frantically Googling how to plan 20-person family weekend in 48 hours, without money planning skills or shame. Now, for anyone who's ever tried organizing a last-minute get-together, you'll know it's not just about food and folding chairs. No, you need logistics. You need spreadsheets, you need Google Docs, a Wi-Fi signal and a soul, preferably all three. But what did they end up with? Well, instead of the luxury countryside, Airbnb with catered meals and coordinated activities. The one I paid for, mind you, they got. Brian's backyard? Yes, Brian. The uncle with 3 lawn chairs. A temperamental barbecue and a garden that smells faintly of disappointment and wet dog. The party, if you can call it, that turned into a sad little potluck. And not even the charming everyone brings a dish kind. No, this was more everyone brings whatever is left in the freezer and hopes for the best. Imagine this. Burnt sausages, lukewarm pasta salad, and Tesco's. Value coleslaw sweating in the sun like it's on trial. A Bluetooth speaker that kept disconnecting every time someone sneezed. Kids crying. Adults fake smiling. Grandma asking why isn't there any real food? Iconic. And my sister, she's running around in flip-flops in denial pretending everything's fine while blasting ABBA like it's a smoke bomb for emotional damage control. Now, did I attend this little shindig? Absolutely not. But oh, did I watch it unfold in real time via Instagram stories, Facebook, check-ins, and one glorious WhatsApp. Photo dump accidentally sent to me by cousin Leanne. A scene I hope she gets promoted to favorite cousin at the next family meeting. One post said, reunion vibes. But the photo, a paper plate of charred chicken, next to a broken garden gnome and someone's foot in a crock. Honestly, it was performance art. At one point, someone set off a bug zapper indoors, and it took out the fairy lights and Aunt Carol's last nerve. There was arguing, someone cried. Uncle Dave allegedly said this wouldn't have happened if insert my name was here. To which I say, you're right, Dave. It wouldn't have, because I would booked an actual venue. Because I would have catered food that wasn't cooked via arson. Because I, unlike the rest of them, understand that you can't disinvite the event planner and still expect an event. But hey, they wanted a family-only gathering. And that's exactly what they got. Family only, no brains, no budget, no plan. So I sat back, I poured a drink, and I let Karma livestream their chaos in 720p. No edits, no filters, no pity. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't loud or dramatic. It's watching your enemies slowly realize they're not the main character. They're just extras in a barbecue-fun tragedy. Ah yes, the morning after the emotional BBQ apocalypse. You know it's bad when even the family dog looks traumatized. And right on cue. My new title is issued like a royal decree from the House of Passive Aggression. You're selfish. You ruined everything. You made it all about you. Me? Selfish? Darling, I funded the dysfunction. If anything, I was the unpaid intern of this entire emotional circus. And someone finally gave me permission to walk out before the lion. Axe started eating the clowns. But sure, let's rewrite history. Let's pretend I wasn't the one who booked the accommodation, catered the food, made the plan, and got booted from my own itinerary like a villain in a daytime soap. Because logic has left the chat and in its place. We now have emotional gymnastics and interpretive guilt dancing. And yet, here's the fun twist, even in exile, I started getting these delightful little messages. Quiet ones. Behind digital doors. Hey, just wanted to say. We didn't agree with how she handled it. You didn't deserve that. Honestly, the whole thing was a mess without you. Oh, now we're sliding into my DMs like secret agents in a family Cold War. Where was this energy when I was being publicly sacrificed on the group? Chat altar of sibling delusion? Suddenly, everyone's got hindsight and allies and moral compasses that work again. And look, I appreciate it. I really do. But no, I'm not unblocking the group chat. I'm not diving back into the digital swamp just so Angeli can send live, laugh love memes while casually ignoring generational trauma. You see, what they don't tell you is that once you finally set a boundary in a family like mine, it's treated like a full-scale revolution. Like I threw a Molotov cocktail into the group photo. Like I personally spat in the potato salad and declared war on all family values. But here's the reality, I didn't ruin the event. I just stopped enabling it. Big difference. And it turns out when the enabler leaves the building, what's left is a bunch of grown adults who can't organize a barbecue without burning a relationship or two along the way. Let's just say reputation rehab is in full swing. I've gone from the reliable one to the villain to the misunderstood icon in roughly 72 hours. It's giving. Beyonce post-elevator scandal. So now I'm doing just fine, thanks. Living my best boundary-enforced life. Eating food I didn't have to rescue from a disposable foil tray. Not checking any family chats. And sleeping like an angel with my phone on. Do not disturb and my conscience. Squeaky clean. Because once you stop playing the martyr, they have to throw their own emotional dinner parties, and it turns out, nobody brought cutlery. So here we are, the final chapter of this logistical soap opera. The post-credits scene. The bit where I stare directly into the metaphorical camera, glass of wine in hand, and ask, was it worth it? Short answer, absolutely. Long answer? Well, let's break down. The emotional and financial carnage. Like a tax audit from the gods of karma. First, the money, because oh yes, we're putting numbers on the scoreboard. They lost. A luxury Airbnb with a rooftop jacuzzi and ambient. Mood lighting that cost more per night than my rent in Muni. A fully catered menu featuring gluten-free, lactose-free, taste-free options specifically tailored to their collective digestive drama. A non-refundable deposit on a private venue with a lake view. Handcrafted centerpieces. And color-coded napkins. You're welcome, Sharon. And yes, 4,000 pounds of my own hard-earned money. All vanished in a glorious digital puff of cancellations and passive-aggressive invoice reversals. Meanwhile, I lost. A toxic group chat where communication went to die and emojis were weaponized. A sister with a god complex and the organizational skills of a deflated balloon. Approximately 27 gray hairs. I was actively growing from pretending. I was fine during the planning stage. And most importantly, the urge to ever host anything again unless the invite says BYOB and BYO drama therapist. But let's not forget the real win. I gained peace, silence, and a bottle of Merlot I didn't have to share with anyone who says, I'm just being honest before emotionally gunning you like a fish. Oh, and the moral of this modern-day fable? Simple. If you're going to exclude the planner, maybe don't do it after they've booked the venue, paid the bill, color-coded the schedule, and created a shared Google Drive folder titled Itinerary Do Not Edit. Because here's the thing they forgot. The planner holds the power. We are the gatekeepers of timelines, guest lists, budgets, and brunch locations. You disinvite me, you don't just lose a sibling. You lose logistics. You lose laminated menus. You lose the person who knows that Uncle Jeff is allergic to shellfish and Auntie Noreen can't sit next to anyone who likes Meghan Markle. And when the planner walks, the whole structure crumbles like a Tesco trifle in the boot of a hot car. So now, while they lick their reputational wounds and eat burnt sausages off mismatched paper plates, I'm here on my sofa in pajamas that cost less than the refund fees, sipping wine, watching reruns of Bake Off and reveling in the pure, unfiltered serenity of saying no. No to chaos. No to martyrdom. No to ever funding a family bonding trip. Again, unless it comes with cancellation, insurance, and a restraining order. And as for my sister, I hope she enjoys her next attempt at a main character moment. Maybe she planned the next trip. Maybe she even pull it off. But spoiler alert, the Bluetooth speaker's still broken. The sausages are still burnt ... and no one is coming to save the group chat. Cheers.